Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 166. And I'm joined this evening by my co-host, Arn Burgess. Good evening, Arn.
Good evening, Matt. How are you tonight?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. It's so cold, isn't it? Like...
Mate, you don't even... Up in the North Island, you don't know what cold is. You do not know what cold is.
You are acting. You're talking as if I live in some tropical climate. When let me tell you, the Tropic of Wainuiomata is very much to be desired. Yes. It's incredibly cold. In the valley.
Well, let's put it this way: I woke up to a frozen wonderland down here in Queenstown, and when I got home tonight at 6 p.m., the ice that existed on my deck had not disappeared.
Oh wow!
Okay. I think the temperature got to about 6 degrees here, and it didn't go above that.
It wasn't too much warmer here during the day. Honestly, it got up to about 8, I think. But it's due to drop down to 0, and the studio that I'm in right now, it's at the back of my house, and it doesn't get as much any sun, a little bit of sun in the middle of summer, but it's warm enough then anyway. Right, I have to have the window open, but now, it's so cold. And
well, I know that as you said, the wonderful paradise that is Wainui. The more you come down that hill, the more tropical it gets. So I do understand. I do feel your pain. I do feel it.
Indeed. Did you manage to get out and play any disc golf over the last week? You were at Hanna, of course.
Yes.
How did?
Yeah, I don't know if what you would call what I did playing disc golf.
Okay.
However,
you were there.
I did get out.
You were in Hamner.
I was in Hamner. Unfortunately, my picking of my pop, drop, and lock had my friends absolutely vying for blood.
Oh, really?
From me. Willie Taratana was on my card and was absolutely livid that I picked him as the drop. And my mate Te Hohota, who ended up doing not too bad in the MA40, he was also on my card. So there was a few card mates that weren't too happy to have me there. Put it that way.
Well, to be honest, we both had a bit of egg on our face with regards to the pop, drop, and lock, as both of us swerved the eventual winner, Francis Orange, by... and he won by some distance, right? It wasn't even close. It was ridiculous. We've got Francis on the show coming on in a bit. We'll go through hot scores and then the scores from... Lords and Ladies and Hamner Hot Rounds. Then we'll bring Francis in, and then a little bit later on we just want to confirm some of the dates with regards to the NZDG AGM, which is coming up end of the month, I should say. So we'll have some of the dates for you there, and then we'll go through upcoming tournaments, power rankings. There's been a few changes in the power rankings, and then that'll be us, I think. So, Arn, why don't you kick us off with hot scores, starting off in the south?
Yep, sure. Sorry, I need to open this up. Now, this is unconfirmed. I had to go and look at it because UDisc was playing a little bit of funny buggers. But down south in Queen's Park, to start us off, I have an 11 down for a Robert McM, or N. So well done to Rob. Heading over to Chingford, Mr. Wayne Brown with a 5 down, takes it out this week. Moving over to Brockville, Corey, not too sure what Corey, hits that with Mano for a 3 down. Heading over to my neck of the woods, well, I'll call it my neck of the woods, Masashimi with an 11 down. So not a name I've seen before,
No,
but
new name for us.
obviously someone that's absolutely ripped the course to pieces there. Over to Lismore. Yeah, this can't be right because it was a two down, but obviously we know that there was some significantly better golf played there
Yes.
over the weekend.
Yes, I see.
Two down for Toby and Jaden. Well done there. Heading out to Christchurch, Jelly Park and Warren Park, taken out by Ashton Clark. 14 down at Jelly, 17 down at Warren. 17
Yeah,
down. That's not a short course either.
No.
Like, it's not a pitch and putt. Um, Heading down to Smallbone, Sam Hall takes out Smallbone with 15 down. And then over to Queen's Park Reserve, pretty much owns this course. Jono Scott, 3 down. Heading up to Nelson, and begrudgingly I'll repeat his name again this week. Mr. Tom Strawbridge taking out Sexton with a 4 down, and Bramford Park with a 15 down. I just want to shout out to our Nelson people there. Please go and keep Tommy off the hot course. Much appreciated.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. We don't want to be repeating his name too often. Right, up to the North Island, and starting off in the capital is at Berrenport. Ben Morrison hits 8 under par in the hills. I was with him for that round on Sunday. He hit that, and he just birdied the first sort of 5 or 6, and we thought something was on the cards. So very well done to Ben. Over the water at Hikoikoi, Matt Badger and Alistair Dunn tie for the lead with a 6 down. You have up the valley to Harcourt Park, and it's yours truly with a 2 under par at Harcourt Park. So there we are. Up to Linklater, Johnny Wake hits 11 down. Over to Maryland's and Tom Roberts with a 3 under par 24. Spa Park Black, Steve Lawson goes round 1 under. Daniel Tidbury for the second week in a row is the hot score at Henderson with 13 down. Les Watene is the hot score at Woodhill, and then finally at Rosedale, the honours are shared between Chris Kingsnorth and the father of New Zealand disc golf, Bob Gentle. There you go. Right, now let's have a look at some of the tournaments that went on at the weekend. Let's go to Hanna first, and then we'll bring in, then we'll have a look at Lords and Ladies. So let's have a look. Here we go. Sebastian Faulkner takes out the win here with Ashton Clark in second place. It looked close for a moment after the first round, but Seb pulled away in the second round.
Yeah, I mean that was simply a case of trying to hold on to Seb for as long as possible, and then trying to see if he'd make a mistake, I suppose, and he just didn't. It's an interesting course, Matt. Like it's pretty much, well, not all of the holes, but quite a lot of the holes were really similar distances and really suited the backhand righty.
Okay.
So we know how killer, Sebastian can put it out to 140, 150 with his right hand backhand, and he's got a really good upshot there as well. So I think me not picking him was probably stupid. Yeah.
Sam Cole rounds out the podium with a very very good score, 997 for the second round.
Yeah.
Jasper van der Meer is in fourth. Sam Lyken and Luke Holston share fifth. Now, in terms of our pop, drop, and lock picks, right? Take us through it then. Who took the honours out here? I picked Seb, so I've got 25 points in the bag.
Yeah. So you picked Seb,
Mm-hmm.
so you got 25 there. I picked Sam Lyken, so I got none for the lock.
Mm-hmm.
My pop was Ewan, and I thought I was an absolute genius for doing this.
Yeah.
However, I think Ewan being on a card with me and all of our mates, I It was there for a good time, not for a great time. So um,
Oh dear.
he managed to pull it back in the second round because he ended up playing with his daughter on his card in the second
I
round,
see.
and she was absolutely killing it. She was throwing the disc further than he was, and so he actually
That's Mackenzie, right?
had to, yeah, yeah, had to pull finger out to actually keep up with her, and then rebuild the score. So I got 10 points out of
Hmm.
him. My drop was Willie Taratna.
Yeah.
Despite his protest, it was a justified pick as my drop
Yeah.
because he ended up dropping 22 points. Um, However, he was playing really good golf. He just that's that old thing, just I don't know if playing with his mates on his card was a good
Mm.
thing for him. So I ended up with 32 points.
32 points. That's pretty
For
solid
that.
considering you missed the winner,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yes, considering that, and then you picked Sam Lycan as your pop,
Yeah.
and that ended up as a 4 point.
Yeah, he did play above his rating, but not so.
A 4 point
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
And then your drop was Ashton.
I know. That was a
Who
mistake, wasn't it?
yeah, who ended up playing significantly above. So I think you ended up on 21 points.
21 points.
For that.
And so you were...
Yeah, so it's 32 to 21.
32 to 21.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
ridiculous. Okay.
But going through...
Did anybody pick out...
Through?
Did any of the chat have a really good day here? There were a few people who picked Seb, I think.
Yeah, so our top sort of scorers were Craig Lycan with 65. He picked Seb as his lock.
Mm-hmm.
Sam obviously picked his son to pop, and then Jay Pookie to drop. So Jay was one of the bigger drops. He dropped 36 points, but I've got a reason for that. So here's a story, right? Me and Ewan are setting up the course with Chucky and Dylan in the morning. And it's freezing cold. There's a frost on the ground. It's about 7:30 in the morning, and Jay Pookie rocks up as he does with his truck. He had left Christchurch or wherever he was at God knows what time in the morning, and he rocks up with two pigs on his roof. Two dead pigs on the roof, and I think he had to borrow some umbrellas to put over them so the sun wouldn't cook them during the day. So he was off hunting in the morning, so I'll attribute that to his drop. But Craig Lycan ended up with 65 points.
Very good.
Well done, Craig.
Well done, Matt.
57.
What did he? 57. Yeah.
Yeah, so he had Seb, Willie, and Ewan, which should have been what I'd picked. But then Hayden, Bonnie, 47. Yeah, that and Scott Brooker with 47 as well.
Well done to those people.
They all beat us. Those are the ones that. Anyway.
Yeah, it didn't. There was some poor picks. I mean, there were worse picks in the other. Well, actually, the pop lock and the pop drop and lock will be coming back next week. Actually, when we preview the Cloud Factory Clash, we'll be doing it for that. So yeah, if you want to play along at home, then you can. Let's have a look at FPO. Megan Merrick wins.
Big battle there.
But she wins out of all the ladies as well, right? So she takes out the ladies' crown, which I think is a kind of a fairer way to look at some of these.
Yeah, exactly.
MA1. This is where our picks start getting a little bit better, because we called Duane Fisher to win this, or at least we said that it was going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And Raina Pai got a hot score for last week from memory, so carried that into the tournament.
186. Yeah. His last round as well, his second round, 986 rated there.
Yeah.
Looks like a decent score. I mean, the MA ones, man, that's deep. You look at the quality of, even go down to Hanafi, who's a very good player, down in 17th there with our chat champion, Mr. Jake Meikle. awesome
Yeah, I mean,
one there.
MA1 does go very deep, and we'll see that the quality in MA1 in Lismore was incredible, which we'll go through. MA40, Andrew Inch takes out the
Yep.
division here. I've not met Andrew. I haven't met him. I have to say, over Scott Brooker and Hotaher.
Yep.
Yeah, you played in this division, didn't you? So
Oh, yeah, to bring that up, didn't you? Uh, yeah. No, I don't know if you call what I did playing, but yeah, no, I was there. Uh, might as well been kidding for someone else because, yeah. Man, we know how good the MA40 division
it's the
is.
best division.
It's completely
Yeah,
like that. Just the absolute camaraderie on the cards and
yeah.
whatnot. And it was awesome to be there in my second round to play along with Shannon and Nick, the two local Christchurch players. That this was one of their first
Hmm.
tournaments, and it was incredible to watch them. They had a boys' crew that came up, and Ewan put them all on the same card together for the first round,
Fantastic.
and then in the second round they got to come and play with us, and they absolutely loved it.
Brilliant.
T-shirts made and everything.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Down into FA40, Tina Himmel takes it out relatively comfortably over Sarah Keane and Donna Cormack, who battled it out till the end. MA50, Stephen Dorey hits a
Yeah,
968 and a 986. Here's a stat for you. That final
yeah.
round by Stephen Dorey is the highest rated MA50 round this year. So very well done to Stephen Dorey,
Also,
breaking records.
second overall.
Second,
Second overall. Yeah,
second
so he
overall.
was second to Seb.
Oh, second to Seb in the tournament.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. In the on maybe not quite 986.
Oh, sorry. No, he's joint tied second with Ashton as in
Oh,
score,
is his score?
nineteen
Okay, I
under.
see. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Of course,
yeah,
yes. Yeah, second overall. So very well done to Stephen Dorey. Incredible. Andrew Faulkner in second place on his lonesome. And then Craig Lycan in third. Down in MA3, Bailey Gardner wins by 2 strokes over Sam Hall. And Michael Marwood. This is a real tough one to make any kind of predictions on because it's such a deep
So
field.
Bailey Gardner's, I'm pretty sure if he's not 15, he's 14.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Uh, yeah. And look at that round two rating.
Yeah, 932.
932
That's
for
gonna be up there for MA3. Honestly, I'll have to check
yeah.
the stats more on this later. But yeah, I'll have to check the stats. But yeah, 932 looks to be pretty high. In FA3, Holly Norris beats out Christina Orr, and in MJ18, Noah Gardner wins over Mackenzie Craig. So yeah, there we go. Another Hamner Hot Rounds in the bank. Successful tournament. Did you enjoy it, Arn?
Oh man, what a course, what a day. Shout out to Dylan and to Chucky um, and to Ewan. I got to go up there and help them set it up and all that sort of stuff. And I went for a wee drive at lunchtime with Dylan because we want to look at what it would look like on the other side as well.
Mm-hmm.
So because it is pretty flat, there's a couple of elevation changes that we can play, but the other side has some more elevation. So yeah, I had a great time sort of yarning backwards and forwards about if he wants to make it a C tier and A tier and push for majors and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to do to get there. But I definitely think it is a venue that could be of that caliber.
I mean, it takes a lot, right, to get a 1 day course like Hamner up to the standard of being able to host a major, and it's a lot of work. But what's great is that there's so many of them, right? So the
Yeah,
chances that one of them will go on this growth journey to the point where it can then go on and hold a major and a nationals perhaps. I
yeah.
think it's fantastic. Yeah.
But even just pushing to a B tier is probably the next step that if he wants to go there, that he needs to concentrate on.
Yeah,
You know.
honestly, I don't think A tiers. There's too much room for A tiers in New Zealand right now. I think
Yeah,
B
I
is
agree.
probably about as far as you're going to go, simply because of the added cash. Right, no one's got the added cash to be able to put what you need
Yeah.
to into an A tier. In all seriousness, for and
Yeah.
make it sustainable. Right, let's
Hundred
have a
percent.
look at Lismore. There was some heroics going on at Lismore, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So let's have a look. Francis Orange wins Lismore by 18 shots, having shot a highest rated round by a New Zealander. The highest rated round by any New Zealander, and the tied for the highest rated round ever shot in New Zealand. Tied Drew Gibson's Bros for Chains effort a few years back.
Yeah.
Would go on in round 4 to shoot a 1060 rated round,
Yes.
which in itself
Yes.
puts it into the top 5 rated rounds of this year. And
Yeah.
now, if you have a look at the 5 top rated rounds by Kiwis this year, the top
Yeah.
5 are held by Francis and Levi. Okay, so
Oh, that's
there we
awesome.
are. He averaged a 1034 tournament average, which I believe is the highest rated tournament average by a New Zealander.
Yeah.
He shot a tournament ace in the first round. And so here's a question for chat. Francis became the second player this year to throw his second PDGA tournament ace. Who was the first? So who was the first player to hit 2 PDGA tournament aces this year? Francis was the second. Who's the first? I'll give you the rest of the show to try and figure that out. Someone can put it in the chat if they know it. We'll give the answer at the end of the show. So incredible job. We'll hear more from Francis shortly when we bring him on. Ethan Stout and Ollie Webb fight it out in second and third place, and then Ryan Cambridge in what I suspect will be a disappointment for him to finish in fourth with the scores that he got. It looks, we know that he's capable of playing better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are you disappointed when someone's shooting that hot? I mean, I don't know. I haven't been playing disc golf for long enough to know what won it last year. And potentially that wouldn't have been good enough, but you can only go and do as good as you can do. And then when someone else goes and has an absolutely lights out
Yeah.
round/tournament,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm wondering what the psyche of those players that the Ethans, the Ollies, the Ryans, and so on and so forth. When someone goes out and goes 1078 and leads by 8 shots after the first round,
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of golf to play,
Mm-hmm.
but holy moly,
That's
holy
it.
moly.
Yeah. I mean, so the last year is difficult because it was a 32-hole course that they
Yeah.
played twice. This was an 18-hole course that they played 4 times. So a different kind of setup.
Yeah.
But however, Ryan's tournament average last year was 1,000 rated. Shot a 980 and a
Okay.
1020.
Yes.
And tied with Francis. Francis actually beat him in a playoff, I think, to take out the win last year. So, it's an incredible margin of victory. 18 shots. We just don't see 18 shots. I mean, okay, it's over 4 rounds, which is going to exaggerate any gaps, but still, that's an incredible result. So
Definitely.
how did our pop, drop, and lock picks go here?
Yep. So simply terrible. Yeah, terrible. I think I messaged you after round 1 of seeing Francis's score and said, "Well, don't we look like dicks?" So we both didn't pick Francis,
Yeah.
so we score 0 for that. My pop was Trent Hock, and he shot 11 points below his rating, so I ended up with minus 11 for that.
Ooh, okay.
Yours was Isaac Latter,
Yeah.
and Isaac shot 3 points above his rating.
Shot.
So you got
Isaac.
3 points. So,
Excellent.
and then for drop, you picked Hayden,
Mm-hmm.
and I picked. Who did I pick? I've got everyone else's scores in front of me. I think my drop was Isaac actually, so I lost 3 points. So I ended up with negative 13 points, and you ended up with, I believe, 4 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you won 4 points to negative negative 13, negative 14. Sorry.
Oh, right. Okay.
So yeah, that's some
not a
top
great
quality picking there.
not a great
Yeah.
not a great result.
No,
Okay. All right.
for us anyway. The chat, the highest scorer of the chat was Mrs. Marie Cummings with 39
Oh, wow.
points.
Well done to
Yes,
Marie.
so
Yeah.
she picked Francis, obviously.
Yep.
Then she picked Trent to drop, not pop, and she got 11 points for that. And then Isaac to pop. So that scored her 39. The next best was 30 points to Hayden Bonney. And then Murray's husband, Kelvin, and Dylan Debman, Mahimi, both scored 29.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it wasn't an overly high scoring pop, drop, and lock for anyone other than Marie and Hayden. Yeah.
Okay. Well, after we'll go into should we have a look a bit further down? We will. I want to get back to Brett's question because that's a good question for the chat. Over in FPO, this started out like when you messaged me on after the first round of Lismore and was just like, well, don't we look silly? And I think my response was egg on face. I looked down at FPO and that was all over the place. It was like, what's going on down in Lismore? It was fully, I expected to be literally upside down. So in the end, Hayley Flintoff had a fantastic final round, one of the best rated rounds for a lady this year, with a 934. So well done to her in the final round. To take out the win over Nicola Stout, which in the end looked quite comfortable by 4 shots. But going into the final round, she was at a deficit. And Nicola...
And over 72 holes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's a pretty close battle, so awesome to see great competition.
Absolutely. In MP40, I think we had a bit of a better one here as well. I think I picked Tom McKay to come out on top.
I had Chris Dixon.
So very well done to Tom. Good performance also by Kyle Martin. Must be said. That's he's played above his recent form as well. So very well done.
Definitely. Ray's a local there as well. So yeah. Hey, isn't it awesome when I take it must be awesome when you're a pro. And the person who wins doesn't take cash. Isn't that great?
So it just filters down to you. Is that what the?
Exactly.
Jin Kato hits a 10.42 second round, which is incredible, right? So just to put this into context, that's the highest rated round in MA1 this year. 10.42 is puts it in about. What are we looking at? 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's about the 16th best rated round of anyone this year in New Zealand. And this came in MA1, right? So it's the highest rated round in MA1 this year quite comfortably. He takes it out and needed it, in fact. Because if it wasn't for that round... perhaps would have finished a bit further down. Jack Maffey has pushed him all the way. And actually, if Jin and Jack had played in NPO, they would have finished 4th and 5th, respectively. So, fantastic performance. Is that true? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
4th and tied 5th. respectively. So well done to those two pushing the division along. Carl Barringer, Ben Quinn, and Jamie Hunter round out the top 5. And it's a massive division as well. Down in FA1, Alison Tweedy wins easily in the end by 24 shots. And yeah, is just always improving, right? Another tournament where she's thrown considerably over her rating.
Looking good.
So, yeah.
I think I actually was looking through the Cloud Factory Clash, and I see that she's playing FPO in that tournament just as a warm up for Junior Wheels.
Well, if she did play FPO this year, she would have finished 4th, but only by a stroke to Victoria Speller, right? And who knows what might have been different if they were all on the same card, right? Sometimes that affects how people play. Down into MA40, and again, you picked out Russell King, I picked out Stuart Gilchrist to win. Lance Eason wants a shout out to say that he beat Mark Tebbett. I don't know if that's a thing, but there we are. There we go, Lance. Yeah. But yes, Russell King and Stuart Gilchrist take out the honours here in MA40.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, Russ is class. Yeah. He's class.
Into FA40, Sue Brown wins again fairly easily by 16 shots over Marie Cummings. In MA50, Wayne Brown wins relatively comfortably by 7 shots over Martin Galley and Jeff Lewis.
You called that, right? I'm pretty sure you called
Wayne Brown to win. Yeah. Down to MA2, and Joel Maunder wins with ease. Maybe time to step up there, Joel. Yeah. If you're hitting several look at this, 940, 950. MA2, very well done. Wins by 15 strokes. And finally, down into MJ18, Hinato comes out with the victory, 2 shots over Connor Rance and 3 over Sebastian Strider.
Cool competition again, though. Like, that's over 72 holes or whatever they played. Yeah. Look at that competition. 14, 16, 17. It's awesome.
So in a tournament which had 6 1,000 rated rounds, I want to go back just to Brett's question there. How many 1,000 rated rounds have we already had this year? There's a question for chat. I know the answer. How many 1,000 rated rounds have been shot in New Zealand this year? Put your guesses in, I'll tell you in a second. Any ideas on?
Well, if you're telling me that Jin's 1,042 is 16, or 16th-ish, around there, I know that there's been a lot of rounds around the thousands to 1,010s. So I'm going to put it up around...
Hayden 36, Brett 50, Sam Cole 47.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll go 51.
Marie Cummings 18. It's a little bit more than 18.
Yeah.
How many 1,000 rated rounds shot by anyone in New Zealand this year?
18's probably Levi.
He's been very close, actually. Ewan Craig 39, Scott Brooker 61, Jack Maffey 45.
You haven't answered the 2 aces.
We'll come on to that in a second. I'll give you the answer to that in a minute, because then I do want to get Francis on, because he's waiting very patiently in our green room. Okay, so if there are no more guesses, Brett says weight 75. So first up, the person with 2 aces is Jason Ormandy, who shot an ace at Garden City Open and an ace at Armageddon earlier on this year. Francis became the second person to throw his second tournament ace this year, with an ace at Nationals and an ace at Lismore. Now, how many 1,000 rated rounds have there been? Now, the person who's closest out of all of these people, although he's not very close, is Brett Carlisle, okay, who with his second guess of 75. And Brett, his guess of 75 is a very long way from being correct. The number of 1,000 rated rounds shot in New Zealand this year is 155. 155,000 rated rounds so far in New Zealand. We're only in May. So yeah, all of those numbers that people were. Kelvin's coming in with 111. Yeah, I think there might be a latency thing there, maybe. Yeah.
155.
Hit the live button, Kelvin. Yeah. Indeed, 155 thousand rated rounds. I mean, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 1050 rated rounds. Right? 11 1050 rated rounds.
We forget as well.
5 of them by Kiwis, five by Francis and Levi, and 1050, 2 by Paul Oman, Dylan Feldman hit 1, Luke Humphreys hit 1, Corey Ellis hit 2. So, I mean, you got to remember all of when we had Tour Down Under down here, all of those rounds that came in, and then there's so many, as you rightly say, that are 1,000, 1,001. So there's been 8 rounds that have been rated exactly at 1,000, right? So we'll see. How many have there been of all time? That's a stat that's still to come, Brett. It's in the works of working that out. But I can imagine that it'll be. If I was a guess, I'd say it would be approaching 1,000, maybe, probably a little bit more, actually, 1,500 perhaps. In the early days, of course, it was really only Simon Feasey and Jackson who were hitting the 1,000 rated rounds. It took a bit of time for.
I mean, it'd be great to see, if you're able to, if the data analytics team is able to draw this out, year on year, how that stat is climbing. Because if we're at 155 and it's only the 9th of May, I'd love to see what that is compared, because there's just so many more tournaments.
Yeah. Well, we'll break all of this. We'll try and break all this stuff down. The data analytics team have been doing a great job to give us some of these stats that you've heard this evening. We'll have a few more coming as well. 155, more than one a day, indeed, is a lot more than one a day. Anyway, right. Let's bring in our guest this evening, who's been waiting very patiently, and so we thank him for that. Good evening to Francis Orange. Good evening.
Oh.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, everyone. I'm very good.
I'm
very good.
I was going to say, I'm guessing by the woolly hat and what looks to be quite thick shirt you've got on there that it's a bit cold down in Dunedin, is it?
Yeah. I woke up and it was 2 degrees or something. I don't know what it is now.
Outrageous.
That's awesome.
Something. I mean, this compares to last weekend when you were on fire. Quite frankly, like, how did that feel? Take us through it.
Oh man, how did it feel? Amazing, I guess. There's not many words that I could put to describe it. Like, I don't know, it was amazing.
Did you know you were onto something when, like, at what point did you think, hey, because you're playing in the first round, right? So you're not on the same card as all of the, as everyone else. You necessarily, you're not on the same card as Ethan, or Andrew Fleming or Ollie Webb, who also were the next 3 highest shooters in that. I'm going to see if I can pull up the scorecard here and bring in. Let me just see if I can bring in Francis onto this display as well.
Surely it's after hole 6.
So I started on hole 12.
Oh, okay. So
yeah. It's a little bit warm.
Yeah.
Okay, so Francis, you started on hole 12. So you birdie the first 5, and then take the double bogey, and then birdie the next 2, right? So after, what's that? 5, 6, 7, 8. After 9 holes, you're sat 5, 3, 4, 5. So you're sitting 5 down after the first 9. Were you thinking like something's on here, or was that just not a, I don't know. At what point did you think, shit, this is something else?
I thought I was having a good start at hole 16. I was like, oh, this is good, because I'd had a bunch of circles edge putts and I made them all. And my card was like, what the hell is this? It's like, you're insane. And I'm like, well, it doesn't normally happen, but I thought it was good at that point. And then I got the double and I was like, oh yeah, it happens. It's the hardest hole on the course. But I didn't think it was that good until like an hour after I'd finished my round.
Oh, really?
Because I submitted my scorecard and I posted on Instagram. I was like, oh yeah, happy with that round. But at that point, we finished much earlier than all the other cards on that course, and it was only at 10:30.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's good. I would expect it to be somewhat near there. Then as cards submitted, it just kept going up and up and up. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you were helped out honestly by some perhaps lower scores than they would have liked to have shot by some of your competitors. But I mean that
Definitely.
doesn't take any. I mean that probably explains why the rating is as high as it is, but it certainly doesn't take anything away from the way that you played, which is, you know, shooting what you've got: an ace, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 birdies, and an ace is going to be good in anyone's game.
Well, just when I play, I know that we're slightly apart in ability levels. But if you know, I hit a turkey for the first time ever in a tournament on the weekend, despite quadruple bogeying the first one, and I felt like I was Superman, you know. So to be able to do that and string that all together, I mean, imagine, you know, I'd be sitting there going, oh yeah, turkey, happy, and then coming out and firing in an ace. I'd be running around like a chicken, going, I'm disc golf god. Everyone bow down to me. So, yeah, well done for not doing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
The ace that you hit, talk us through the hole.
It's a new hole at Lismore, I believe. I only played last year and this year, but we didn't play it last year. It's a short. It says 57 meters. It's got like a mando tree really close to the tee, but essentially you're throwing a low ceiling hyzer or straight shot that hyzers at 70% through its flight. It's a low ceiling, so I kept it low. I hit the line perfect, obviously, but it just happened to skip and just go in.
Fantastic.
So like, I think most of the time an ace is just dumb luck, and you probably shanked it. This one, I definitely parked the hole regardless, so I think it was a good shot. But yeah, I mean,
That's
just had to go in.
Most aces. I mean, honestly, most people aren't aiming for aces, right? Because it usually means that you would overshoot the basket by some distance. And you were probably. I mean, I'm just looking at some of the distances here. Did you break out anything faster than a 7-speed, like at all, for this?
On the gold,
143 meters.
No,
you maybe need a 10-speed to get to that.
I threw an eagle on that long hole, but the rest would mostly zone and Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's our problem, Matt. Maybe, you know,
well,
maybe
we can't throw
we
far.
should be aiming for aces.
Is it?
You're saying that most people are not playing for ace, and from what Francis just said, you know, he's pretty confident with this putt anyway, so you might as well go for the ace, right?
Yeah.
On a 57-meter hole.
That's fair enough. I mean, to be honest, 57 meters, that's hole 1 at Petone, right? So if for anybody in Wellington, that's the same kind of distance. And I never go for that ace. Never. Yeah. Because I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, to the skip ace is probably the exception, because that kind of shows that, look, I was trying to park it and
yeah.
That's it.
It.
That's a ludicrous scorecard, quite frankly. All those birdies in a row. Then on to round 2. And you shoot 9 down, and the 9 down comes in at 974 rated. might not be able to see it quite on the screen there. Let me just see if I can bring it across. Which honestly seems a little bit. Did it feel like 100 rating points lower?
I would probably say it felt about 50 lower.
Okay.
50, 60 lower.
Yeah.
So we changed course. This course is significantly easier. There's almost no trees.
It's longer though. It's longer, but it's the same, and it's the same par. But it's just less wooded.
Yeah, the other one's mostly wooded. This one's like a field, and there's some trees scattered around. So pretty much everything should be a birdie, more or less, if you throw that distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No. Fair enough. Because I chat and let us know how you feel about this. If you go into a tournament and then you shoot your second round is 100 ratings points lower than your first round, right? I would be coming off the course going, that's just terrible. that I just feel like I've thrown it all away. I mean,
it's like regular occurrence for me, so I'm well used to it.
But I mean, a 974. I say you're still in the hunt. You're still leading by 7 shots at this point because again, no one else is pulling away, right? And there's no one else who's gone and put the 1040 on there that would close the gap more significantly.
Jin did.
Oh yes,
I believe
that's
it was
right. Jin did. Yes, Jin did put the 1040 in.
And I was keeping track of overall. It mattered to me, but I think I was still ahead.
Yeah, you would have been. Hang on a second. No, that's the wrong one. This is the right one. You still had 6 shots on Jin at this point, right? So so overall, still doing very well. Then we go into round 3, and you're back on the gold layout, and it's a 10 under this time, 10-25. Similar kind of story.
Yeah.
Did you start on hole 1 for this round?
Yeah, we did. And this was like a lead card this time, so I was playing with MPO. Yeah. So I kind of in round 1 I just thought everything I had to birdie. That wasn't the case on this card.
Okay. Because you could see that you had a 7 shot.
I could feel like you can see the vibe of everyone else. Yeah. So if I don't see someone shooting super hot, I'm not stressing.
Yeah.
More or less.
That's a good point.
But I'm still, of course, trying to birdie.
It's a good point. When you're, how does it feel when you go out and you shoot something stupid on the first round, like 1078, and you're in front? Are you course managing from there and playing the tactics game of just staying far enough away to win the tournament, or are you sitting there going, "Can I break the tournament average record for a Kiwi"? How does your mind go in going into that second day, third round?
This was definitely the newest thing to me, and I'd say it was the most challenging of the whole event, was keeping my head in a normal state. Because going to sleep after shooting a 1078 is hard. Like your mind's just racing. Like the entire day, it was just like crazy. And then that round 2, definitely affected me. I started off the round with 4 pars on like possibly the 4 easiest holes. Like I missed a bunch of 4-meter putts or something. I was just playing not great. And I definitely noticed that. I fixed it, I guess, in round 2. But my goal in round 3 was just to play good disc golf. At that point, I was like, if I just do me, I'm going to win this tournament. And I can just play for rating and shoot hot, which I did, I guess.
And then when you get into the 4th round, you've got a 12-shot lead by this point. All bets are off. Just like this, I can't lose this one, surely. Was that the feeling?
Yeah, pretty much. Ethan joked on hole 1 that even if he shot 18 under, I think I had to shoot like over par or something. I don't know what he said, but like it was pretty much decided on hole 1 that I was winning already, and I was just going out trying to shoot 18 under.
Exhibition golf. exhibition golf. Yeah.
Pretty much. And I wanted revenge because I was pissed off with round 2.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that course justice.
I'm just going to take a look. You birdied every hole on the blue course with the exception of hole 4. So you did get your revenge on those ones you did miss in the second round. And then you go on to shoot a 1060 rated round, which is the 5th highest rated round by a Kiwi ever. Yeah, that's not bad. I think it comes in 5th anyway. Just double check.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, I obviously...
Apologies, that's the 3rd highest by a Kiwi this year. 1060 and 1078. 1 and 3 in this year so far. And then it's not over. Yeah, I mean...
Levi who?
Yeah,
Levi who?
Indeed. It's not over. Because when you've got a 17-shot lead, what you need is a final 4 holes to work out who the winner is.
Yeah, of course.
You know my thoughts on Super 8s and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
We've spoken about it on the show before. But then you go on to play 4 more holes with Ethan, Ollie and Jin. And this is just basically exhibition stuff. You've got a bit of a gallery and it's just sort of throwing for giggles, is this at this point?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
You can't lose.
We had a significant break between finishing and the starting, and the whole time I was just kind of settling into the fact that I'd played a good round and talking to people and whatnot. And I decided I wanted to just get 1 under and get to 50 because it's way cooler than 49.
Yeah.
And then we knew that it was going to be those 3 there, and Jen was also involved. And Jen was in a different division. I was clearly going to win, and these 2 were actually 1 apart, I think.
Yep, they were.
At the start of it. So they were like, golf mattered to them, and I was just like, oh, how can I entertain people? I don't really know. I don't know how to do, because the holes we got given kind of had obvious throws. Like, it was just hyzes for me, anyway. But I wanted to throw something stupid. But, yeah.
Awesome. I love that. I do. I mean, with regards to competitive golf, yeah, I do question the Super 8s or the Final 4 or whatever they call them. But for a pure exhibition style golf, I love it. You know, I love it because if you are playing in the tournament and you don't finish early enough, you don't get to watch the MPO or whatnot. It's really cool to be able to go out there and watch them play. So yeah, for exhibition purposes, I can see it. I enjoyed it, and especially if you got someone who's, because you're right, 50 under is way cooler than 49 under, and I'd even say, you know, it's even cooler than 51 under. But that's, you know. I do have a question. You obviously you wear your Winnow shirt pretty proudly with the orange in there. Do you reckon that competitively Winnow would have the best pro team in the country? I would love to see a Winnow versus RPM or something like that.
That's what it would be. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Winnow v RPM.
I think we've discussed this briefly.
Yeah.
Well, someone joked about it in a chat somewhere. I mean, I'd probably say no. Levi is too good.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I played a good tournament, but Levi's done that multiple times. Like you guys said mine was the highest rated tournament. I think Levi's shot a tournament better than that three or 4 times. He averaged 1044, I think, at Tucker's last year.
True.
So like,
yeah.
I don't think we could say Winnow's the best.
Oh, yeah. I'm just trying to create a little bit of team competitiveness, you know.
I would love to say yes, but I would be lying.
Well, if you match it up, you know, so you ranked your players, you know, went in with a team of 4, then say 1 plays 1, 2 plays 2, 3 plays 3, I reckon it'd be a really cool battle. And I think it's what disc golf's missing. I would love to see that sort of thing.
Do you know what?
To see our players go 1-to-1 head-to-head match play or something like that.
You're absolutely right, Arne. We don't have this kind of this kind of team versus team thing, and I quite like that idea. Of like supporting your, whoever it might be. It could be your sponsor, or it could be your, could be anyone that you want to represent. It could be your local club, right? Like a geo tournament. We don't see enough of that.
Definitely.
Play your region, yeah. So I think that's pretty cool. Francis, you, in terms of talking about your region, you've moved to Dunedin. Not recently. It's about over a year now. It's been a while.
It was January last year.
Yeah, just over a year.
Almost a year and a half.
How are you finding it down there? How does now you've been down there for some time? What's the vibe like?
It's pretty good. A city as a whole, it's kind of very similar to Wellington. It's hilly, and I think it gets windy quite a lot here compared to Wellington. Like it's
Careful.
I thought it was similar last year. There's been a bit less wind this year, but the disc golf, people know I probably don't socialize all that much in terms of the disc golf community, but the disc golf community here is great. It's great in Wellington. It's great here. I'd probably say I enjoy the disc golf Dunedin club more, if that creates drama.
Yeah, shots fired. Shots fired.
Not at all. But you've got Chingford and Brockville down there. Which one do you practice at, or do you play at, or is it you mostly out in the field and you might go and play the courses on there?
So I've played Chingford once.
All right.
And I don't plan to go back.
Not your kind of course.
Is that the easier one?
It's real.
Yeah,
it's quite short and technical, and there's some holes that are really kind of head scratchers in terms of how did you come up with that. One I'm thinking of where the hole is up some stairs. Have I got this right? Like and then it's on a field, the back of a field, up some stairs. It's very bizarre. When you get there and you stand in the tee, and first time I played it, I was with some friends and we were looking around, going, "Well, this is the tee. Where the hell's the basket?" And we were like, "Maybe it's up there." So you go up and have a look. So I kind of get that. It's the Chingford. Do you get around Brockville often?
Yes, I do now. Last year, I was settling into the cold temperatures of Dunedin and played very little disc golf over winter. But I live relatively close to a couple fields and get to those once a week probably, and I've just got my brother playing, which has been awesome. It's me to keep going to Brockville. So we've been to Brockville probably twice every week since the Tour Down Under finished, pretty much. But quite a lot this year.
Fantastic.
It's wicked. I hear as well that potentially they're looking at another course at Port Chalmers. Is it? Have you heard about that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we play that course as one of the Dunedin Black Ice tournaments.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
And it's in the works, but I believe we're waiting on the golf club, so we're taking it's taking a while as it does. Yeah. And there's another course that's gone in Palmerston, but not Palmerston North.
Otago Palmerston.
I haven't been to yet, but I've heard good things.
No. I mean, definitely, I agree with you. I think Disc Golf Dunedin, for the amount of social media that they put out, I don't know if you see it, Matt.
I follow Facebook.
Before every tournament, they label each one of their members that are playing in every division, and then after the tournament,
quick results
they
summary.
Celebrate. Yeah, but they celebrate every single player, even if you come 150th in MA 70, you're on that celebration, which is incredible. That's amazing. So, question, Francis. Let's the Arne Burgess National Championships for teams, and we're doing it by region. And Wellington give you the call up and say, Francis, we would like to come in and play on Team Wellington.
City of origin, surely.
Yeah, are you saying no to Wellington and playing for Dunedin, or what's the go there?
Well, I'm probably saying, well, yeah, I'm probably saying no to Wellington, but
Yes.
only because Levi's in Dunedin, and I don't want to go up against
Well,
Levi. I'd happily play for Wellington, but
that's it. If Levi plays for Dunedin, then the Dunedin team's looking incredibly strong.
If Levi
yeah, no
played
one
for
wants to.
Dunedin, no one would let him back in Invercargill.
True, he's probably going to be playing there anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So he
I
would
don't
be
know.
banned from the entire district if he went against Disc Golf South. Yeah. No.
No, maybe I'd ask who can pay me the most, but I don't know if anyone's offering.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd see who gives you the better deal.
Do you have any for me, I love watching Kiwis, and I loved following Ethan and Levi and Jaden and whatnot when they went over to the States last year. Do you have any desires to do that?
Well, it's the dream, really, right? Like, I would love to. I want to go. I pretty much want to play as much disc golf as I can. Like, I just love playing. Um, Ideally, that would be in the States. I'd probably go to Australia first, but it's not really in the books. I don't have the funds for it,
Yeah.
and
No,
yeah, it would take a lot of planning, and I just haven't.
It's
go to
tricky.
university, get that education.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Indeed. Just looking back at earlier on this year, what's your review of how you played in the Tour Down Under? You had an 8th place finish at Topor, 5th at Nationals, 4th at Bottle Lake, and then 8th at Paradise. What were your how was your kind of I guess self-reflection? What was your thoughts on how it went?
Um, at the end of it, I was just like stoked, to be honest. Like, I'd spent 7 or ish weeks just playing disc golf every weekend, traveling.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally just amazing. That was my first reaction. I was like, wow, this was awesome. What an awesome summer. But in terms of the disc golf, at Topor, it was wet and raining and cold. I'm notoriously terrible at playing in cold and rainy conditions. I lack the probably I'd say the body fat to maintain
The
any
insulation.
semblance of coordination
Yeah, the insulation.
in those conditions. But so Topor, I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. That was also the first time we met the pros, so I was just like enjoying it. Got to see them all play. I got signatures and whatnot, and that was just cool. And then Nationals was next. I thought I didn't play that great at Nationals, just looking at my play, but I came second out of the Kiwis and 5th overall, I
You
think.
did, yeah.
So I walked away from it super happy, and I had a great week. But I feel like that one was hard to tell because it was Balaraka, so everyone feels like they're playing bad. So it's like, I don't know. But I was happy with that. I played well because I got second to Levi by 1 stroke out of the Kiwis, I think.
Yeah, it's a real kind of. It must have been pretty tricky, right? Because so you finished 2 under for the tournament. Levi was 5 under in 4th, and you were 5th, tied with Nate Perkins and Paul Oman.
Yeah.
But Corey Ellis finished 33 under, which is just it's orders of magnitude higher. Were you on the same card as any of those guys for any period? You must have been for some of the tournaments.
No, I think I was on. Corey was on lead card the whole time. I think I just was on chase or 3rd card the whole time. I played with Levi 1 or 2 rounds, but I do that often. So yeah, I didn't see them tear up the courses.
And then looking ahead, you're signed up for every tournament going pretty much for the rest of this year. You're going to be at Cloud Factory. You're going to be at Nottingley, and then Arne, this is where we get to see it, right? We get to see Francis go head-to-head against Levi at Tucker Beach Rush at the end of July.
I mean, I mean, I'm not being offensive here. That course is Levi's got that course under his thumb.
Yeah, he does.
You know,
Yeah.
what did he say on the show last time? He's going out there trying to shoot. Was it 27 holes? He's trying to shoot better than 21 under each round. So to have some competition, so he's not just playing against himself, will be great. Will be great.
That's it. I think I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to that tournament because you two are the on informed disc golfers right now, and so it's that's a battle we want to see. And then if that wasn't enough, when it comes to the Dunedin duel, Black Ice duel, you're both playing in the Black Ice duel, both events. So again, if you haven't had your fill of Francis versus Levi, then you certainly will by the end of that run of tournaments.
Definitely.
A couple of questions from the chat from Hayden Bonney. What's more important, Francis, practicing shots on or off the course, or learning disc flights?
Oh, that's a cool question. I would probably say that practicing shots would teach you disc flights. But if you don't know disc flights, that's definitely more important, I would say. But it kind of comes over time.
So how are you practicing then, if that makes sense? Are you got like a, I don't know, you put your bag down in the middle of a field and then find a spot on the field and try and aim for it kind of thing, or is it more of a film yourself throwing and then have a look and try and change, or what are you doing out on the practice field?
It's definitely both. It depends what I'm working on. For me, I've spent hours and hours and hours watching videos on form. If there's a video on the internet, I've probably seen it if it's about form. And then I kind of just internalize that in my spare time and think about it. I kind of just pace around my room, just throwing my hands through the air, pretending I'm throwing a disc. And then that kind of helps me just think about how I'm going to throw. And then I'll get to a field and if I'm working on form, I'll take it slow, throw one disc every 30 seconds and actually think about what I'm doing. And then probably, I haven't done it for a while, but I'll record myself and watch it back like straight away. You set up a camera, record yourself, throw, watch it, make any adjustments, and then throw again. That's pretty much how I work on my form. But once I was happy with my form, which I probably got to that point just before the Tour Down Under started, fieldwork changed, and it's just reps, essentially. It's just building confidence. Like, set yourself up at a distance. I've got 10 odd lunars, 10 buzzers, countless discs, and I'll just throw them aiming at goalposts most of the time.
So here's a
backhand
fieldwork question from an absolute amateur. How do you remember how many discs you've thrown? Because I always come away from the field and then I get to the course and go, where is my blah, 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 blah. That's probably my biggest problem, throwing the discs and remembering.
I don't suppose it's too much of a problem if you've got quite a tight grouping. But if you're spraying them all over the place, then it could perhaps get a bit tricky.
Yeah, I don't know. You just got to count them, I guess. I've definitely lost discs in fields.
I reckon I lose more.
I've like caught myself at 11 p.m. and I'm like, oh shit. Anyway, I'll be like, oh, there's a disc in the field, and I'll have to go back to the field and go get it. I've done that.
Yeah. I lost the first run time lapse that way.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Rip.
Yeah.
Oh good.
So what are your what are your targets now for the for the rest of this year? Because obviously there will be more tournaments, not just the ones that you've already signed up for, but there will be more tournaments on the way as well that you'll be playing in. What are your goals for the rest of this year?
I mean, pretty much keep playing consistently. I really just want to be able to keep playing over winter, which I failed at doing last year, and maintain the ability I have now. That's kind of my goal, probably that's probably my main goal. But I want to keep up with Levi ideally. Like I want to be able to challenge him at Tucker's. I want to be able to work my way up the Sweet Chain rankings, which has taken me my sweet time. After my 5th at Nationals, I was still sitting in 14th. I was gutted about it.
Well, but, you have moved up this last week, so we'll get to that shortly.
That is lovely. Yeah, that's pretty much my goal, is keep playing, keep consistent, and play the best I can.
Because, us plebs down here in the 844s, I'm sitting there obsessed with believing that I can achieve a 900 rating. So to be sitting there and talking to someone that's playing at your ability to go, I don't really care about anything but competing and just being better is, maybe I need to just focus on just getting better rather than focusing on a number and beating Scott Brooker.
Well, some good news, Francis, is that in the next ratings update, which will be arriving on your doorsteps next Wednesday morning on the 15th of May, you will drop 1,000 rated round at Lismore last year, 1,006, a 960 and a 974 will all disappear from your ratings calculations. And will be joined by the 2 rounds that you had at Rip and Dip, which were both 1,000 rated rounds, and the 4 rounds that you shot at Lismore just now, which was incredible. So you could find yourself with a bit of a ratings bump come next Wednesday.
Yeah, that would be cool. Actually, there's one other goal. One thing I always check is the PDGA player stats. If you search up PDGA and you go membership, and you go statistics, and then you sort by country, and you go to New Zealand. Currently, if you do that and sort by points, I'm at the top. If you sort by tournaments played, I'm at the top, which, I mean, that's kind of whatever. That depends on your situation. But Levi is significantly ahead in payout.
Oh, money won. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm second. And if you sort by rating, I think I'm sitting in 8th. I like to keep my eye on those things and stay as high as I can.
Here you go.
Which is kind of random.
Francis is top based on points, number of events, tied with Ethan. Cash, So Cash is Levi's winning. You're now in 2nd place. You've overtaken Mikey Yu.
Yeah. I'm not going to catch Levi though.
that might be quite tricky with the tournaments that are left. And then with the rating, you are you've got to let's just go to division played MPO, just so we don't have the double up of Simon Feasy here. Where are you? Rating. Yeah,
you got to
sort it again. There you are, 976. You're going to get a bump. That 976 is going to be far higher. And don't forget that ratings don't tell the whole story. If you want to know who the best players in New Zealand are right now, then the Sweet Chain rankings is the place to look at.
Absolutely.
Which we'll get to. We'll get to shortly. But Francis, you've got Nationals have been announced for Christchurch next year. That's on Waitangi weekend. We don't know if Tour Down Under is going to overlap with that tournament, and as such, there's a chance that there may be a bunch of US pros coming over for Nationals. We shall see. We don't know. Likelihood is you'd kind of go looking at who's organising it, looking at the timing, it looks like that might line up. But who knows if that turns out to be a thing. How I mean, it'd be another good yardstick to kind of say this is how well I'm doing against the world's best, not just New Zealand's best.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like after seeing Corey, Sully, and Paul, Juliana, and there was one more, Luke. After seeing them play, I think I have a good idea of how good they are. Of course, I'd love to see them back, and it's cool to see them play. But I have an idea in my head of how good they are and how I compare to them. So I'd probably say I compare myself to them already, and I don't think them coming over again is going to change that at all. I mean, it's kind of cool to be able to play against them if I am still playing good at that point. But
well, look,
I definitely can do that.
Would have won you many rounds anywhere in the world, right? We're not.
In an absolute minimum,
yeah.
I would hope that if GK Pro came back, we would see a Francis Orange on a GK Pro skins.
Well, we'll certainly be campaigning for that here.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Lovely. Right. Let's see if chat's got any more questions before we let you go. Brett has asked, what's more important to you, 1,000 rated or number 1 on the Sweet Chain rankings?
Well, I imagine, I don't know exactly how your rankings work. I would have to be a lot higher than 1,000 in order to take
not
Levi off the top
necessarily.
spot. Well, not necessarily.
Because it really depends.
It's unlikely I'd get one without the other.
That's probably fair. That's probably fair given the way it's likely to go, but it's not impossible for it to go, right? So the rankings depend on how everybody plays, and if you win a tournament, who it was that you beat in that tournament, right? So if you came along and played against me and Arn, then your dominance index, which is the thing that's used to rank players in the power rankings, would not go up by very much. Compared to if me or Arm were to beat you, our dominance would skyrocket because it would say, "What's going on here?" And yours would come crashing down. But anyway, that's just how it works. So it very much depends on who you beat, and so playing against Levi and beating him is really the quickest and easiest way to close that gap. It's possible to do it without playing against him, but it's a lot harder.
Yeah. I guess to answer Brett's question, I would say I'm going to say 1,000 rated.
1,000 rated. I don't think that's very far around the corner, honestly. Honestly, I don't think it is. I mean,
especially with the way that disc golf's going in New Zealand, we're only getting better players as a whole. So we're getting higher rated players playing tournaments, and regardless of that, you guys are still beating the pants off us. So you know,
that's right. But Francis, look, it's been fantastic having you on. Thank you so much for coming on and talking us through your round and how your practices go and how you go about practicing. It's been fascinating. So thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations, well done again for your incredible round at the weekend and your incredible tournament win at the weekend. That's 2 for 2. We'll see you next at Cloud Factory Clash in about 3 weeks' time. And then Nottingham Giants the weekend after that. And then obviously Tucker Beach Rush end of July, where you'll go head to head.
I think you can be safe to say that either me or Matt are going to pick you for a lock.
We're not missing that opportunity again. Yeah, we've learned our lesson, very much so. Very much so. Okay, lovely stuff. Thank you so much, Francis, for joining us.
Cheers, man.
And we'll catch you again. Speak to you soon.
Sweet. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
What a player, Arn. What a player.
Oh, mate. Yeah. It's just amazing to sort of the way that he answers all the questions. He sits there and considers everything, but he actually gives a pretty clear answer to that as well. So he's Oh, just methodical, I think, is the word that comes to mind.
Yeah, that's a fair
Yeah,
word.
yeah. I mean, I didn't want to. I did kind of put him on the spot with a few sort of bantery questions there, but I'd love to know the NPO's thoughts about nationals and having Americans at the nationals, because it's now 2 years since a Kiwi won, or 3 years since a Kiwi won nationals.
Mm,
I'd love
that's
to
fair.
know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the thoughts were, because
Mm.
I want to see Levi or Francis or Ethan or one of those guys. I want to see them in the Champions Cup. I want to see them in the European Open.
Yeah.
And that's what they potentially get by winning is that, well, is it Champions Cup that they get the entry to?
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
Yeah, the Champions Cup. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So for me, as much as I love watching the pros and as much as I loved watching that GK Pro footage, I want to see Kiwi win nationals. I want to see them
yeah.
over,
Well,
you
okay.
know.
So here's an interesting way of looking at it then, right?
Mm.
Because people might say, okay, right. Well, look, nationals should be for New Zealanders, and that's all it should be, right?
Hmm.
However, right, does that mean then I'm precluded from playing nationals?
So I mean, I've actually got an idea, but I just think that
Because
potentially,
I'm not a New Zealander. I have a British
yeah,
passport,
true, yeah, yeah, yeah,
and so I'm not. Although I've lived here for 9 years now, or nearly 9 years, and so like so not even most of my life, not even most of my adult life, have I lived here. So like, am I? Would I be precluded from this? And not that I'm suggesting that I get anywhere close to winning,
Oh
and so it
no,
probably would be moot. But like, but the idea is right. There's plenty of good players out there who who are. I'm trying to think of top players at the top end of New Zealand who I can't quite do
like I
this.
like where you're going to this because
Yeah.
firmly, if we follow that pathway, then it'd only be Māori that'd be allowed to play the nationals, and I'm all for that. The Māori Championships of disc golf would
Hmm.
be great. Uh, Maybe that's something I might be able to start and win. No, I'm never claiming I'm going to win a division ever again. That was terrible last week. But yeah, I mean, it was just a thought. I mean, I live my disc golf life vicariously through the likes of Francis and Levi.
Hmm.
So I love watching good Kiwi disc golfers do well.
Yeah.
And, followed the Pro Tour very, very closely last year. And especially when Levi, I celebrated when Levi cashed it. Was it Kansas City Wide Open that he cashed at?
Hmm.
Um, that was awesome. So I'd
Yeah.
just love to see it. But it'd be interesting to know what other people thought of it. Whether what value they bring. Yeah.
Chat, what are your thoughts? Should nationals be limited to New Zealanders?
New
Should
Zealand-based players.
New Zealand-based players? Okay, so this is that now has got kind of a different has got like a different ring to it because suddenly now I can play. So yeah. So I mean, chat? What do you think? What have we got? I have had success in another sport before, and it was very frowned upon when the Australians came overseas to compete at our nationals. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Agreed, but I think a Kiwi will win anyway as the quality continues to climb. Interesting. Actually.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you think... There's a question, in the next 5 years, how many Kiwi winners, how many Kiwis will win nationals in the next 5 years? 5 or 1?
It might be one that wins it 5 times.
Well, yes, no, it could be. In other sports, foreigners often compete, but don't become national champions. Yeah, that's true. Should we be having a New Zealand Open and a New Zealand Nationals? That's an interesting one. I don't know.
To me, the majors are the majors, right? And
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we want to hold something up above everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the general New Zealand disc golf public do hold. Yeah.
See, now,
I don't
Jake
know.
makes a good call here. An international player shouldn't be able to use us to qualify for Champions Cup. Now, right, arguably, this year wasn't a problem, right? Because Corey Ellis comes along, European champion, so he's going to be qualified for Champions Cup anyway, right? In fact, is that true? Or are the years different? Because I know New Zealand runs a year before.
Yeah, so this year's Champions Cup was Nate Perkins' entry.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think Nate Perkins would otherwise have qualified for it.
I don't think so,
suspect
because
he
he
would have
doesn't
done.
play. He doesn't play that many Pro
No.
Tour events because he is working.
Yeah, and I don't even know if he competed. I'm sure. Actually, I'm sure he competed. I'm sure I saw his name there. And then you had Corey Ellis win it this year. Of course, Corey would likely qualify anyway because of his European Championship win. So,
Yeah.
does that need an amendment where it says the highest placed Kiwi? Or is that kind of is that the point, or does that take it away from the fact that it's a champion and actually we should just suck it up and be better?
Yeah, I suppose it comes down to what the PDGA want the Champions Cup to be, right? If they want it to be a tournament for champions, then that's great. What we're potentially talking about would be more for some form of a World Cup. Right,
Yeah.
so the highest placed Kiwi would qualify for the World Cup, and maybe disc golf is getting to that point where like a sport like rowing has several World Cups as the series, and then they have one World Championships, and so maybe it's going to that. And I think along the lines of the Tour Down Under, maybe the Champions Cup draw is a draw card for Henry and trying to recruit pros up there. So if we take that cherry away, does that limit the potential for people to come over?
Yeah,
but
perhaps it does.
Yeah, so
perhaps it does. But so Jake's saying every country has their best players representing them. Hayden makes a good point. If Corey can win European Open for an entry, then why can't anyone else win ours? It's fair enough.
Yep.
Scott, one of the great things about our sport is inclusivity. I don't think we should be picking and choosing that where it suits us. Yeah, okay, no, fair enough. I mean, we should just go and get better, right? And if the European Open is on the Pro Tour, New Zealand Nationals isn't. Okay, yeah. So I get what you mean. It's a PDGA major, whereas the Nationals is an NZDG major. Which is a different kind of thing, right?
Yeah. No. Anyway, great chat. It was just a question that when he said about I don't necessarily need to see the pros back, I sort of thought about, is he saying, hey, kick them away and let me and Levi battle for nationals? But I'm probably putting words in his mouth there, and I just wanted to ask the question. But hey, it's a question that we've got to have these conversations, right?
We do.
And ask what the people want.
We'd love to know a little bit more, chat, about your thoughts on this. It's an interesting one. Right, now let's have a look at the upcoming dates that we have for the NZDG AGM, which is just around the corner, actually.
Yeah.
So I'll pop the notice up on the screen once again. Oh, still got Francis there, actually. Maybe he would prefer it if he wasn't there. There we are. There's the notice. So 9th of May. This was earlier on today.
Yep.
The nominations, seconds, etc. were closed. That happened at 8 p.m. today. And by Sunday the 19th, we'll know who was nominated, who was seconded, and what roles will be contested, amongst other things, on the 19th of May or by the 19th of May, I should say. It could arrive earlier, but by the 19th of May at 8 o'clock, we'll know that. So a bit of an off week, bit of a quiet quieter time with nothing much really to do until it all kicks off after that 19th of May. Let's just say it will come out on the 19th of May, but it could be any time before. Now, e-voting, which everybody is encouraged to do because it makes it far easier if everybody e-votes than having to tally up manual votes in the AGM at the end as well. E-voting opens when that email gets sent out and closes shortly before the AGM, and the AGM is on the 29th of May, is that right? The 29th of May, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I'd encourage everybody who I'd encourage everybody to attend that meeting if they can. Now, on the Thursday before, so this is a mark your calendars kind of deal. This will be on the 23rd of May. Okay, we'll be having a stream where we invite people who are who have been nominated for some of the roles to come in and have a quick chat with us. It's not going to be the sort of an in-depth interview like we do with players, etc. It'll be more a sort of quick 10 to 15 minutes with each person. There might be a few people to get round, so we'll just check into them to see who they are. You can chat, you can meet them, and if you want to ask questions, then you can do. And it'll put a face to some of the names who you may or may not be familiar with. So we'll be sending those invites out when we know who the people are on the Sunday for that Thursday. And so it's up to you. The voting starts when the email gets sent out on the 19th of May. So if you want to vote then, you can. Or you can wait until Thursday and wait to see the show. Wait to see your thoughts there, and then vote after that if you wish as well. It's entirely up to you. I'll be casting my vote, I think, after the show has occurred, because I think I want to question the candidates a little bit and find out a little bit more about what's going on. And then we'll find out the results on the Wednesday the 29th, and then on the show after. We'll break that down, all the results for you. Now, Morgan will be back by then.
Yep.
Arn, you'll be joining us next week.
Yep.
For the show. And next week, we're gonna be doing a bit more stat. Now, I want to do a quiz. Right, we got a little, as I was saying a bit before, we got a bit of a low week. There's no talk. There's Women's Global event this weekend. And then next, and there's no tournaments the weekend after, apart from Cloud Factory. Is that the weekend after that? Cloud Factory's the weekend after that, I think. So next week we might have a quiz. So and it'll be an interactive one where you put your answers into the comments, and it'll come up on screen who's got the most points and everything. So we'll attempt to run something like that, and it'll be all around what's happened in disc golf in New Zealand, similar to some of the stats that we've been talking about today. And maybe they may even surprise you, as it seems the number of 1,000 rated rounds so far this year caught a few people off guard. So let's just have a quick look at we've got a couple of questions here. Lords and Ladies was a final event in the NZDG point system. I think it is. I think it was. Does it run from June to May? Is that right?
Yeah, I believe that Nottingham Giants is the first tournament.
Nottingham Giants is the first one. So this
NZDG tour. So
okay, so this will be the final one. So the announcement of the NZDG points tour winner will be announced. Honestly, I have not been following it. It's not something which I think is very well publicised, and it's very. I know the results are available on the NZDG. Levi's probably going to win it, and so yeah. Sam asks, "Is Nationals planned to be on the Tour Down Under next year?" No idea. I don't know. You'll have to speak to NZDG or Henry about that. Nationals would feel more special as a standalone event and not part of a series, perhaps. That's a fair comment, Jake. It might well do. Hayden, you also have to get Francis back in the future for Desert Island Disc Golf. We will. Yes, it's been a hot minute since he did Desert Island Disc Golf. I think he did it last time when he was on, which was probably about a year ago. Actually, it might have been this time last year, following his win at Lismore last time.
I can tell you something about Francis with Desert Island Disc Golf. He's going to throw orange discs.
Yes, his entire bag is orange. That's true. Hayden asks, you also have, Stephen asks, e-voting, is that just by email or will it be a form? So you'll be emailed a link and you click on the link and you fill it out like an online form. So it's who do you vote for, and you put a tick in a box and then hit submit at the bottom, and then it fires it off, and then that's your entry in. So ever so easy to do. There's not really a reason for anybody to not be able to vote because it's technically difficult to do so. Although if you are having technical difficulties, then please reach out to the email address on the screen there, secretary@nzdg.org.nz, and Martin will be happy to help ensure that you can do that. But remember, the show that we're going to have in 2 weeks' time will be talking to all of the candidates, and we'll be quizzing them on a few bits and pieces on their nomination and their kind of views, etc.
Anyway, I do question Morgan's ability to get a little bit of bantery with them. You know how I put Francis on the spot choosing between Wellington and Dunedin. But hopefully he can get his inner John Campbell out to quiz the candidates.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the upcoming events then. We've got the Women's Global event, which is this weekend. So you've got Christchurch, Wellington, Auckland and Invercargill all on events. Let's just take a quick squiz at this. 54 players signed up for Auckland, 31 signed up for Invercargill, 46 for Wellington, 61 at Christchurch. Now, did I read that I think it's 29 players out of that 61 are males.
Yes.
So that's 32 at Christchurch,
yes,
plus 46 at Wellington, plus 31, plus 54. If you're good at maths, you're following along. 163 ladies all playing sanctioned disc golf. It's not this weekend, it's the following weekend. Well done, chap, for picking that up. It's the 18th. It's the 18th of May for the Auckland, Invercargill and Wellington events, and then Christchurch on the 19th. So if you're keen, you could get to one of these and then down to the third one, fourth one even, Christchurch. Thank you, Brett and Scott, for spotting that. It's next, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. Right, where do we get to? We got to here, didn't we? Then it's the Cloud Factory Clash the weekend after in Mataura. This is Bray Marsden and Ethan Stout organising this one. Should be a giggle, another one dayer down south. Nottingley Giants is Waimate on the 1st to the 2nd of June, and as you said, that's the first event in the NZDG tour, and then Sub-Zero on 6th to the 7th of July. This is your one, eh?
This is my one. So I just on my way back from Hamner dropped in on some of the locals there to talk sponsorship and whatnot, and hopefully come out in the next week or so with some accommodation specials and whatnot. Looking forward to it. First Excellent. Of the Southern Silver Series, which is it's not part of the Elite Series, but basically using the TDs from the Elite Series to mentor some new TDs, such as myself. So, 100%. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it without. I mean, when Morgan asked me, he said, "Do you want to do it?" And I said, "Not without Ewan." So, here's my safety blanket.
Then it's the Tucker Beach Rush, which we spoke about, is the head-to-head between Francis and Levi, or the next head-to-head between the two. Small Bone Slam in Christchurch, Blood Sacrifice. Then the first of the Black Ice Duels, Hagley Huck is sandwiched in between them, and then in the week after that, further later in the year, Topor Thermal Throwdown. Looking forward to this one. I've got a little asterisk next to this as a possibility. So we'll have to see. And then Owaka and Te Anau in October and December, still to be confirmed. And then Nationals in Christchurch, 6th to the 9th of February.
I do notice that you are missing a couple there as well. Wahitapu's not, and that's the first week of November.
Okay, I was looking at the disc golf scene.
Disc golf scene, yeah. So I don't think
see anything on there yet.
Yeah,
okay, all right. So there may be some that are still to go. So make sure you tune in each week to get an updated list. Finally, let's have a look at the power rankings. Nicola Stout climbs 4 places thanks to her 2nd place finish in Lismore, up to 5th. Megan Merrick moves up 1 spot to 13th, and there you are. Francis Orange climbs 4 places to 3rd in the power rankings. Sebastian Faulkner climbs 4 places to 10th. Ollie Webb, who finished 3rd at Lismore, climbs 20 places into 16th. And also Tom McKay climbs 3 spots to make it into the top 20 as well, thanks to his win in MP40 at Lismore.
Awesome.
Okay, that's it for us for tonight. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this evening. If you like what we do and you feel like it might be a thing you could do, please hit the like and subscribe. It makes a massive difference to the channel. We are hurtling towards 400 subscribers when we will do our next giveaway, and so depending on when that is, we'll have to sort something out, because 400 is quite a milestone. I think 400 is more of a milestone than 300. So yeah, so we'll see how we're going. Then watch out when we hit 500. That's just going to explode. So anyway, but we got one step at a time. We've got to get to 400 first. So if you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button and getting us 1 or 2 closer to our target of 400. Yeah, all good. Anyway, Arne, are you playing any disc golf this weekend?
It's forecasted to be as cold as it was today, so I'll see. And I am missing. I am missing my good mate that's over in Mexico playing disc golf today. So
yes, that's right. He was playing disc golf in Mexico. That's
yes. But I'll try and get out. I think go for a wee gardens round. Maybe a wee bit of a need to start working out Tuggers Beach for when that comes along as well. So I'm sure I will. Actually, one thing to point out, if you are watching in the Queenstown area, there is the Parks team are doing a consultation meeting at Jardine Park from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. on Saturday at the Croquet Club to talk about what they do with Jardine Park. So we want to show as much support for the disc golf course there, and hopefully even push them to chuck in an extra 9 baskets and make it a full 18 there. So if you are around, come in and tell my my Parks team to put in more disc golf baskets.
Excellent. Well, look, thank you so much, Arne, for joining us this evening. We'll see you next week. But wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you